Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. If you are here for this video, you probably joined me at the Great Yosemite Stamp Escape put on by the Cat's Meow in April of this year, 2023. And this is the fourth project that we're creating in our class. And this one is actually a mini crate. I've die cut all of these pieces using the mini crate die set from Concord and Ninth, or actually I think it's called Little Crate. And then I also have 3 mini card projects to go inside of this crate and a few little mini envelopes to go with those. So let's go ahead and start assembling our crate. You can see you have 2 pieces here which will form the base or the body of your crate. These pieces here are designed to add some dimension to your crate. So they are actually optional. If you don't want to mess with them, you don't have to. Your crate will still be adorable. Now this Little Crate die set, and I believe I'm calling it Little Crate, yes, has all of the score lines that you need on this project to create your crate. So you're just going to go ahead and score and fold on the score lines. Now, sometimes if you want to fold these away from the valley. So anytime there's an indentation, you want to fold away from that. Sometimes it can be hard to start your fold like that. So what I recommend doing is folding towards you a little bit first and then folding back in the proper direction and then just reinforcing that fold with your bone folder. Now you'll do that along the tabs on the side as well. So just fold it up towards you first and then towards the back of the die cut after that. And I'm going to do that on all of the pieces of this mini crate base. Now this comes together very easily. I think you're going to be surprised. When you die cut the mini crate or the little crate, it die cuts all of these pieces one set all at once. So you'll just run the die through your die cut machine 2 times and you'll have all the pieces that you need to create this little crate. And it has a little tag set with it that is so adorable. So you can add this. It's a great size little crate. I've added bath bombs to this, little treats and cupcakes. It's a great size crate when you're finished, but it also coordinates with the Greatest Hits die set. And there is a little record sleeve that you can put together to fit in there as well. So now that I have all of these kind of folded and ready to go, I'm going to add adhesive onto this so that I can assemble it. I'm going to add adhesive to each of the little tabs along the side of the crate. So there are 4 tabs, 2 on each of these pieces that you're going to want to add adhesive to. And I do recommend a strong adhesive for this because it is something that you'll want to stand up to a little bit of wear and tear. You don't want it to fall apart. So I'm just going to use score tape or a red liner tape would work. So I have it on all 4 of the tabs here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to flip this over and on the inside of the crate, just on one of these, you don't need to do this on both, I'm going to add some adhesive. Now this part, if you wanted to use liquid glue, you can because it does make it easier to kind of slide everything into place. And because this tape is pretty strong, you don't need a ton of it. You can just kind of go around the edges here. So once I have all of my tape in place, and I love to use that tape that just tears so easy, I can go ahead and start removing the backers. And keep in mind, this is the inside of my crate that I've done this on. I'm going to remove the backer from all of this adhesive. And I'm going to place these crates on top of each other to create a T. So I'm going to have both of the insides of the crate facing up towards me. And I am going to just line up these 2 pieces where they create this kind of T shape or a cross shape, kind of like the Swiss cross. I'm just being careful. Sometimes I like to use this as a bumper to keep me from going too far. And then just making sure that these score lines are kind of in line with the edge of that bottom one. And then I can press that all down. So do you see how it kind of makes that Swiss cross shape there? Then it's just a matter of folding up the edges and building our box. So I'm going to remove the adhesive from the first tab, fold it up, and I like to just fold this up to where I can kind of see the edge and make sure that the edge of the next portion of my box is aligned with the score line of that tab, and then press that into place. And then I'll work my way around this box, just assembling it. Now, if you wanted to, I don't recommend adding the little detail pieces before you have the box assembled because they go around two sides of it. So you do kind of have to assemble the box first and then add these detail pieces. So this actually comes together very quickly. We're only a couple minutes into this video and we almost have our box built. And just press those into place. And then this final one, we'll tuck that in. And then we have the box or the crate created. And it has these nice finished edges because we have the tabs tucked on the inside. So isn't that adorable? Love that. Now we're going to add these detail pieces and they have score lines in them as well. And you'll see that there's little tabs. Now you can add these with a little bit of this double-sided tape. I actually find that I prefer to add these with some liquid glue. So I'm just going to quickly add liquid glue to the back side of these. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room to kind of move things into place. So I'm just adding the liquid glue to the back. And I'll start at one edge here. I'll line this up with the edge of my crate, kind of make sure that everything kind of falls into place, and then just wrap it around to the next side of my crate and just push everything into place. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this tab down. I kind of like to do it once I have it in place. Then I just add the liquid glue behind it. And if you want to use just a pair of cross-lock tweezers to kind of hold that in place while you put glue on your next piece, you can get those score lines working. I don't necessarily make sure that I press these into place too firmly because you want it to kind of wrap around your crate. So I'm going to just add this liquid glue quickly. And then I will start at that next point where my tab is. Take the flat edge and start it there. Push that into place. Wrap it around. And then on this part, I'm going to pull up that first piece that I placed and tuck it behind, tuck this tab behind that first piece that I placed. And then I have my trim along the top of my crate. And I'm just pressing that all into place. Now, to add a little dimension to the handles, because if you look at milk crates, they have that little bit of dimension on the handles. You have these handles. As I mentioned before, some of these things are completely optional. You can build them up to add dimension, but the crate is cute on its own without these pieces. So if this is not something that you want to deal with, you totally don't have to. You can leave it like it is and no one will be the wiser, or you can build up the dimension. So I prefer to build it up. I think it's fun to have these little pieces that just kind of add a little bit of extra wow. And like I mentioned before, I'm just using a little liquid glue to add these all on. Now you're going to do the same thing with the bottom trim piece if you choose. And they're going to go on much the same way that your top trim pieces did. Let me just get this into place. And once again, tape runner, liquid glue, whatever you prefer. But I do like, this is just a me thing, so you can do this if you want. I like to start it in the same place that I started my other one. So I like to find like this top trim piece started here. So I'm going to take the bottom trim piece and start it in the same point. And I'll line it up with the bottom of my crate and that edge. And then I'll just kind of allow it to wrap around and press it into place. Now this one's a little harder to get the tweezers in there, so you may just have to hold it for just a second while that liquid glue sets up. And then you can take your second trim piece, add liquid glue to the back of that, or tape runner, whichever you prefer, and then add it to the next portion of the crate. So just wrapping this around. I love this little crate. It's so much fun. There's so many things you can put inside of it. So I'm going to just lift up the beginning of that first piece again. I'll use my tweezers here to kind of get under there and just press that all down so that I have a nice finished edge. And if you need to add just a little more liquid glue in there, you can. Make sure everything's making good contact, that it's all pressed down. And there is our little crate. Isn't that adorable? I love all these little accent pieces that Concord and Ninth has included to just give it a little special finishing touch. So I'm going to set my crate aside, and then we're going to work on the 3 mini cards that are designed to coordinate with this. So I'm going to start by taking my card bases, and I'm just going to score them. These finished size of this is going to be 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So I'm just lining my card up and scoring at the 2 7/8 inch mark. That is just one little tick mark lower or less than the 3 inch mark. So I'll just get these all scored, and then we can start stamping them. Now you do have this little piece here. I'm going to show you what that's for here in just a bit. I have the Misty stamping tools for the class set up with multiple stamps in them to make it easier to get everything stamped and lined up. So I'm going to start by stamping my You Rock on the front, and this is from the Greatest Hits stamp set. So I'm going to ink that stamp up in some Juniper ink from Concord and Ninth. Gently ink that up. And I'm going to make sure that my card base is in this lower right-hand corner of my Misty stamping tool and just stamp that down. And I'm going to do that on each of my card bases. So all of these cards are the same. These are little fun lunchbox notes or little tags that you can place on a gift or things like that. I love to make these little mini note cards because you don't need a lot of embellishment on them to make a cute little mini card. So I will tell you that these are cut to 2 7/8 by 5 3/4 to make this size card. And the size envelope that I've included are 3 1/8 inch envelopes. So now that I have my You Rock stamped, I'm going to actually use this little spacer. I created this spacer just for this class to help everybody get their mini cards lined up. So I'm going to place the spacer into that lower right hand corner and place my card base right up against that spacer in order to stamp my record. I'll ink up my record in black ink. This is Concord and Ninth black ink. It's a great rich black ink. And this one is very juicy because it's nice and new. I'll just press that down onto my card base. And we're going to finish that record off with a little stamped record label on the center too, to add just a little bit more color to that. And all of these stamps are from the Greatest Hits stamp set from Concord and Ninth. So the record and all of that. And then I'll stamp my third and final mini card here. Now for the center, the record label, I have just this record label stamp. It's from the Greatest Hits stamp set as well. I'm going to ink it up in Nectar ink and just stamp it into the center of these stamped records. Just like that. And then to finish off this card, I am going to add just a little strip of cardstock to this. So I have one long strip. You're going to use the one long strip for all three cards. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a thin line of liquid glue to the entire thing. You might get a little glue on your hands on this part. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, put this right underneath this You Rock word, and I'm going to trim off the excess, and then go to my next card, place it right along the bottom, just like this. Trim off the excess. And then go to my third card, place it in the same spot, right along the bottom here. And trim off the excess. And there is a little bit left over, just in case you mess up. Now to finish these off, all I need to do is take and fold on that score line that we created and really just give that a good little crease there. And then I have my three little mini cards. These are going to fit perfectly inside the little crate that we created. And you could give this as a gift or keep it for yourself. And I will mention again that this coordinates beautifully with the Greatest Hits die set, which has the little mini record sleeve that you can place right in there. And I'll show you that here in just a moment. So you can just place all of these in here along with the mini envelopes, and you have an adorable little gift there. Now this is the little mini record sleeve that coordinates beautifully with it. It's from the Greatest Hits die set from Concord and Ninth. This is the record that we used earlier on the Celebrate card, and this is going to be the make and take that we are making. So just a little mini record shaped card that fits right in that record sleeve. But these record sleeves are great to fit inside of this little crate as well. So if you're looking for another option for something to slip inside of your little crate, that's a great option as well. I absolutely love this little crate because it holds so many different things: mini note cards, bath bombs, sugar treats, cupcakes, lip balms, money, gift cards, whatever you want, you can stuff them into this little crate and it creates an adorable little gift.